Volkswagen has thoroughly upgraded its largest van, the Crafter, with smarter looks and a redesigned cabin. There's still no EV version though, but this improved take on the Mark II model is more digital and media savvy and has a wider range of driver assistance systems, and it's still as practical as ever. It remains the UK's fourth best-selling large van, and in many ways the thinking business person's choice in this sector. There are many big vans that claim to be all things to all people, but this much improved version of Volkswagen's largest LCV, the second generation Crafter, comes closer than most. A really big van is the kind of thing your business will need for its heaviest, most awkward loads. The kind of vehicle that, as a result, is likely to get the toughest day-to-day treatment. Such an LCV will also require quite a substantial initial outlay, money you'll want to preserve as far as possible in resale value when the time comes to sell. Now, for all these reasons, when considering a van of this kind, it's tempting to stretch yourself a little and go with the quality option, even if it costs a little more. In this market, that tends to mean either a Mercedes Sprinter or this contender, Volkswagen's Crafter. Both are based upon the same underpinnings and roll down the same production lines at Daimler's Dusseldorf and Ludwigsfelde plants. The Crafter, though, originally launched back in 2006, has always used its own engines, a policy that continued with the current second generation version introduced in 2017. It sells in a wide variety of forms, panel van, drop side and chassis cab, and also forms the basis for the brand's largest camper van, the Grand California. With this Mark II Crafter, over 354,000 units were sold in the first 5 years of production prior to the arrival of this facelifted model in mid-2024. Volkswagen then has every incentive to keep this big LCV up to date, but still can't offer the thing this model line really needs, a full EV version. Instead, what we've got with this mid-term update is additional safety, a redesigned cabin and extra media technology. Will it be enough to keep this Crafter competitive? Well, you'll need the usual comprehensive car and driving review to find out. There are no mechanical changes as part of this update. We hadn't expected that for the combustion range, but we had expected that Volkswagen might try and introduce the kind of full EV drivetrain that just about every other contender in this segment now offers. Volkswagen's been developing an EV Crafter for years, but there's no sign of it being production ready just yet. Once you settle into driving a large van like this, it's a very commanding experience. You sit high up in quite a car-like position thanks to the upright steering wheel, enjoying a supportive seat that can be equipped with an armrest to prop up a weary elbow over longer trips. On the move, this Mark II Crafter has always felt a little more car-like thanks to its electromechanical steering system and its optional front-wheel drive configuration, both things that you couldn't have in the pre-2017 era Mark I model. Rear-wheel drive and full-motion four-wheel drive are still offered too, and your selection of drive layout could well impact your choice between the various versions of the 2-litre TDI diesel engine on offer. There are three, with 140, 163 or 177 PS. Outputs available mated to either 6-speed manual or 8-speed DSG auto transmission. Let's get to the drivetrain detail. The Volume CR30 model is available exclusively with front-wheel drive, a 140 PS 2-litre TDI engine and 6-speed manual transmission. This CR35 version adds the option of a 177 PS 2-litre TDI unit with either front-wheel drive or auto-only 4-motion 4-wheel drive. This CR35 Crafter can also be ordered with 163 PS 2-litre TDI rear-driven power, which is the exclusive engine and drivetrain layout of the heaviest 5-ton CR50 version. This TDI power plant has always been quite a refined thing, and to some extent that's still the case, providing you don't stress the engine too much. In everyday use, the power plant goes about its business with little more than a muted hum. Progress to the upper reaches of the rev range though, and this diesel sounds far less comfortable. Indeed, at higher motorway speeds, engine noise is more noticeable than intrusions from tyres or the wind. Ride quality, well, that remains unbettered in the class, making this an excellent long journeying companion. Not much has changed about the look of this updated SZ series 2nd generation Crafter. Not much needed to, which is more than can be said of some of this model's predecessors. Big Volkswagen LCVs of old really were very ugly indeed. We're thinking of the original LT of 1975, the LT2 of 1996, and the original 2F series Crafter model of 2006. Fortunately, when this SZ series model arrived in 2017, it was a lot easier on the eye, with wide horizontal front end lines and a raked-backed windscreen. There are 3 body lengths: this 5,986mm medium wheelbase version, the 6,836mm long wheelbase variant, and the lengthier 7,391mm long wheelbase maxi derivative. There are 16-inch, or as in this case, 17-inch wheels. The height of the bluff rear end depends on your choice of roof levels: low, high, which is what we have here, or super high. The main changes as part of this update, though, lie inside the cab. Let's take a look. Climb up behind the wheel and you're faced with what Volkswagen calls an intuitive state-of-the-art cockpit landscape, fitted to what remains the highest quality cabin in the segment. Now, inevitably, that means a screen fest, with digital instruments for the first time controlled via buttons on the new multifunction steering wheel. Using these, you can change the screen format from dials to info boxes, and also select full screen mapping if navigation's been specified. This 10.4-inch centre monitor is also new, with a home screen that can display either with customizable widget boxes, or if you press this top right virtual button, with rows of little icons. Onboard Wi-Fi, online voice control and various VW CarNet online functions can be optionally added. A Crafter regular might also recognise the restyled gear selector and the addition of an electronic handbrake. More powerful USB-C sockets now proliferate. There are 2 low down to the left of the gear stick and 1 on the dash top. And as you'd expect in this class, the backrest of the middle seat folds down to create a work surface with cup holders, pen trays and a securing strap for paperwork. You'll have to do without that, of course, if you swap this 2-person bench out for a single seat. The driver's seat is multi-adjustable, and with plusher trim comes with this armrest. We'd want to upgrade to the more supportive Ergo Comfort chair, which can even be massaged. Once you're comfortable, there's plenty of space for all your odds and ends, with storage spaces aplenty. You get a large bin in each of the doors, big enough to store a large road atlas and a 1.5 litre drinks bottle. And there's a huge glove box that can be air conditioned to keep drinks cool. In addition, you get 2 cup holders at each corner of the dash, deep recessed stowage bins along the dash top, and large stowage areas beneath the passenger seats. Plus there's a cubby to the left of the centre screen, a coin tray to the right of the steering wheel, and ticket clips in the sun visors, along with jacket hooks on the bulkhead. These overhead storage bins are optional. On to the rather spooky question of which crafter. At the time of our test in early 2025, ex-VAT prices were in the £38,000 to £57,000 bracket, and there's a usual wide range of body formats, including tippers and drop sides, and the brand's Grand California camper van, which we've tested separately. It's the panel vans we'll be focusing on here. The range isn't too difficult to get your head around. There are three gross weights: CR30, this CR35 and CR50. And you can have your crafter in this medium wheelbase length, in lengthier long wheelbase form, or in lengthiest long wheelbase maxi guise. There are two trim levels, Commerce and this Commerce Plus. And if you opt for the latter, you'll be offered the option of the lengthiest long wheelbase maxi body style. A low roof body height's available on request, but most will choose this high roof height. There's also a super high roof height available. All the engines on offer are variants of the same 2-litre TDI diesel unit. In front-driven form, this comes with either 140 PS or, as in this case, in 177 PS form. If you'd prefer your crafter to be rear-driven, there's also a 163 PS model. All those options are offered with a choice of either manual or DSG auto transmission. With the 177 PS unit, there's also the option of a 4-motion 4-wheel drive variant, which can only be had with the 8-speed auto transmission. As you'd expect, the pricing we quoted earlier isn't a lot different from that applied to the model produced alongside this crafter, its closest competitor, the Mercedes Sprinter. Even more of a crafter clone is the MAN TGE, which is a rebranded version of the same van made in the same factory but sold and serviced through MAN's truck network. But expect to pay a premium over the money your business would need for the other larger LCV contenders in this segment. Models like the shared design, known as either the Vauxhall Movano, the Peugeot Boxer, the Citroën Relay, the Fiat Ducato or the Toyota ProAce Max, or the shared design marketed as either a Renault Master or a Nissan Interstar. The other key alternative is the largest 2-ton version of Ford's Transit. Unlike this Volkswagen, all of these competitors are also available in full electric form. As part of this mid-term update, Volkswagen's taken the opportunity to upgrade this crafter's specification tally. As a result, even base Commerce trim now includes a composition colour DAB Plus radio with a 10.4-inch touchscreen, App Connect phone mirroring, a digital cockpit instrument screen, central locking, front and rear parking sensors, and acoustic park distance control for the rear area, though you still only get a side sliding door on the passenger's side. If you can stretch to this plusher Commerce Plus trim level, then your crafter will come with an anti-theft alarm system, climatic manual air conditioning, a comfort driver's seat including 2-way lumbar support and an armrest, cruise control with a speed limiter, electrically adjustable and heated door mirrors, and rear wing doors with 270-degree hinges. As for key options, well, we've got a few of them fitted here. Navigation, power folding mirrors, super bright LED lights in the load area, and a rear view camera. To that, we'd ideally also want to add Volkswagen's more supportive Ergo Comfort driver's seat, voice control for the multimedia system, heated front seats, overhead storage bins, and a heated windscreen. And you might also want to consider LED headlights, high beam assist, a tow bar, a digital tachograph, and side and curtain airbags. A massaging driver's seat's available, and you can have a single front passenger seat instead of a bench if you want it. For regular building site deliveries, add the uprated suspension and shock absorbers, and forgo the larger fancy 17-inch alloy wheels that we have here. The brand's Travel Assist semi-autonomous driving system is now available as an option for the crafter for the first time as part of an advanced assistance package, as is Emergency Assist, which will bring the van to a controlled halt if you're taken ill at the wheel. A highlight of this improved crafter is its range of upgraded standard and optional driver assist systems. Included on all models are front assist, that's autonomous emergency braking, including cyclist and pedestrian monitoring, a lane assist lane keeping system, dynamic road sign display, a speed limiter and monitors for attention and drowsiness. Plus there's crosswind assist too. Optionally, you can now add a blind spot monitor and lane change assist. So, how practical will this Crafter prove to be in everyday use? Well, the twin rear doors swing right out as usual, and they can swing out to as much as 270 degrees if you get this plusher trim level or pay the extra to have this feature. Now there's a reasonably low loading height, which can be as little as 570 millimeters. And once you get your goods inside, the space available will of course depend on your choice of wheelbase length. There are two options, 3.64 and 4.49 meters, and three overall body lengths. This medium version, long, and long wheelbase maxi. Now, as usual with LCVs, your total loading volume will be determined by your chosen combination of wheelbase length, front or rear wheel drive configuration, and roof height. There are three roof height options, starting with the 2.35 metre low roof version, which slots in between this 2.59 metre high roof variant, that's the one most will want, and the 2.79 metre super high maxi high roof option for those who really want to supersize things. All of that means that this medium wheelbase model can be specified in load volumes that vary between 9.3 cubic meters and 10.7 cubic meters. A long model can be specified in load volumes that vary between 13.6 cubic meters and 16.1 cubic meters. And a long maxi derivative can be specified in load volumes that vary between 16.1 cubic meters and 18.4 cubic meters. Now we ought to give you some load space length, width and height dimensions too, so notebooks at the ready, here goes. Now these rear doors open to a width aperture of 1,552 millimeters, and inside there's 3,450 millimeters of loading length in this medium wheelbase model, which would rise to 4,300 millimeters if you selected a long wheelbase variant, and 4,855 millimeters if you went for the long maxi derivative. The load area width is 1,832 millimeters, narrowing to 1,380 millimeters between the wheel arches on models with single rear wheels. And that's decently wide by class standards. Where twin rear wheels need to be fitted, Volkswagen has redesigned things with this generation model so that the width between these arches isn't so greatly affected. You're looking at 1,030 millimeters in that case. Now, what about load area height? Well, with the high roof, almost everyone will want, it's 1,961 millimeters, with 100 millimeters less if you choose rear wheel drive. That rises to 2,196 millimeters with the super high body shape. These stats are difficult to beat in the class. There's only one sliding side door, and it offers an aperture 1,311 millimeters wide and between 1,587 millimeters and 1,822 millimeters high, depending on your roof choice. As at the back, there's a big yellow grab handle to aid access. Inside, where in this medium length model there are up to 8 tie-down points. Important options fitted here include these super bright LED cargo area lights and the protective ply lining kit applied to the interior sides and floor. There's the usual full steel bulkhead, but as usual, unfortunately, no option for a cargo hatch built into it that would allow you to push longer items into the cab. Rivals with that feature continue to score over this Crafter. As usual with any LCV, the payload that you can carry depends on the drive configuration and gross vehicle weight of the exact variant that you choose. Now the front driven setup that most customers will probably go for, and that's what we have here, is available for Crafter variants of 3 tonne, 3.5 tonne and 5 tonnes in gross vehicle weight, the CR30, this CR35 and the top CR50. This CR35 raises the rather feeble 729 kilogram payload of the CR30 to between 1,139 and 2,410 kilograms. Now that can give you a potential payload capacity anywhere between 735 kilograms and 1,301 kilograms. Running costs, of course, will depend on the engine and gross vehicle weight that you select, but whichever Crafter you choose, you'll find the 2-litre TDI diesel engine to be extremely frugal, whether you select it in 140, 163 or 177 PS guise. As a guide, you can expect to average somewhere between 27 and 33 mpg in this vehicle on the combined cycle, depending upon the variant that you're in, and between 256 and 313 grams per kilometre of CO2. As usual with this TDI unit, the AdBlue additive is necessary to meet Euro 6 emissions regulations. You'll get about 5,000 miles from each AdBlue tank. Service intervals have been extended from 25,000 to 30,000 miles as part of this update. That's useful. An oil service is ideally needed every 12,000 miles, and there's a 3-year warranty with no mileage limit. It seems as if the switch from diesel to EV powertrains will take a lot longer than the industry and European governments expected, especially in the segment for really large LCVs, which is good news for the Crafter range, which remains solely built around diesel power. This improved model feels a lot more up-to-date inside, incorporating the technology that modern businesses now want. Otherwise, though, the appeal remains pretty much as before. Is there really a better quality large panel van out there than this? Assuming you prefer this Volkswagen's engine range and pricing structure to that of its Mercedes Sprinter stablemate, then you'd have to say not. Yes, the Crafter is priced at a premium compared to its various mainstream market rivals, but you can see and feel where the extra money goes. Forward-thinking businesses will accept this on the basis that residual values are very strong and the whole vehicle feels and is built to last, enabling companies to spread the upfront sticker price over a longer operating period. In 10 years' time, we would wager that this vehicle will still be going strong at a point when most of its rivals are starting to fade. Enough said.